This morning the exercise started very smoothly, and there has been some kind of cordial reaction between the drivers and then the KMA here. So drivers have moved to where they are supposed they were asked to move, and we can see that there is some kind of free flow of traffic. Not as complete, it's some kind of free flow of traffic at the terminal now. But the chairman for the Concerned Transport Union is telling me that there are some states that they would wait till KMA does something before they will move. They mentioned one of them that if KMA do not move some of the stations from Bantima and Asako, those stations they wouldn't be able to move those stations to Abinci and then Swami, where they have created that terminal.
Mohammed, for the purpose of some of us who may not know this area, try and paint, for the purpose of some of us who may not know this neighborhood, try and paint a mental picture of what it actually looks like or looked like before the task force was put into effect.
Can you come over again?
I'm asking that you paint a mental picture of what the area used to look like before the decongestion started.
What the area looked like before the decongestion started.
What was the situation?
Okay, the situation here was very congested. There was the movement of vehicles in this solar terminal was very slow. Vehicles would take about more than 10 minutes before they will be able to move in, and at the same time before they will be able to move out of the terminal. So this exercise is purposely done because the terminal was created for buses or vehicles within the Kumasi metropolis. It wasn't meant for vehicles traveling outside the Kumasi metropolis. So the chairman told me that they have had that idea, or they've been told that the terminal is not meant for the vehicles traveling outside the Kumasi metropolis. So they were in agreement with KME when they brought to the system. But he insists that the three stations, that is Papua, Enchi, and Asankaba, will still remain at the terminal before KME would be able to move those things. You see, the issue is that we have the same station at Bantima and Asako. And now, if you are going to Abinci, you have to pass Asako. And they are saying it will be very difficult for someone to pass Asako and then go to Abinci and take Enchi or Takwa car. So what we are expecting the KMA to do now is to move those cars, the Asankaba, Takwa, and Enchi cars, vehicles from Asako and then Bantima to either Abinci or Swami before those vehicles at the Kegetia terminal will also move. Because if they move now, it will affect them. Nobody will move. Nobody will go to Abinci to board a car when there are cars at Asako and Bantima, which is close to Kegetia than Abinci.
And so what's been the response from lorry drivers at the bus terminal?
Well, they are saying it's a welcoming idea because the congestion there is even something they were expecting the KMA to work on it, and now that they are doing on it, they are really happy about that.
And right, go ahead.
And so the chairman also told me that tomorrow, probably they will meet tomorrow with the KMA and decide with what they're going to do with the station at Santima and then at Asapo, so that they will come to a conclusion whether all of them to move together.
I see. Now, it's not just Kejetia bus terminal. The KMA is decongesting. It's also decongesting central business districts in Kumasi. Which areas are we looking at?
Come again?
I'm saying that it's not only the Kejetia lorry terminal that the KMA is decongesting. We understand that it's also affecting some central business districts in Kumasi. Which areas are we looking at?
For now, I don't have that information. When I get those information now, I will let you know. But what I know is that KMA is embarking on a decongestion at the Kejetia bus terminal. And the exercise very smooth. Because drivers are moving willingly. Nobody is compelling them to move. They have already moved for it. They have moved for it.
I see. Are we able to tell the numbers who have been moved from the lorry terminal to other terminals?
Yeah, we have the Takrady station, Agona, Wata, Seviyoso, Joaboso, and some other areas have already moved.
I see. How is the KMA ensuring that these lorry drivers do not return to the very places they've sent them away from?
All right, I asked them similar question, and then what they are saying is that this time around, it isn't the KMA alone that is embarking on this exercise. It is a collaboration between the KMA and then the chairman of various station at the Kejetia bus terminal. And then, so there's no way these vehicles come back again. The chairman also tells me that they have started a meeting with KMA and they agreed because they've been told for some years ago that the terminal is meant for vehicles flying within the Kumasi metropolis. So they are saying it will be difficult for them to come because since it is an agreement of collaboration between the KMA and then the stakeholders at the Kejetia bus center. So they are very sure it will be a success.
We understand also there is the issue of a patrol team, a 24-hour patrol team. What have you seen with regards to that?
After the time I went to the Kejetia bus terminal, there wasn't any patrol team there.
Which will be about what time? Just before you go on, about what time?
At about 8 a.m. this morning.
I see.
We are told that it is only when the vehicles or the drivers refuse to comply with the directives of KMA that they would be compelled to leave there. But KMA staff and all that will be there to monitor the vehicle. But there wouldn't be any kind of pushing them out or something like that. But if they refuse that, they would apply some kind of force. But now that they have moved, I'm not sure there will be some kind of military and all that. But after the time I went to the market, I didn't see this at all.
Have you used the lorry terminal yourself today?
Come again?
Have you used the lorry terminal yourself today?
Have I used the lorry terminal before?
Today.
You're asking whether I've used the lorry terminal?
Yes, today. Have you used the station today? Hello, Mohammed.
There, or?
Yes. Have you boarded any vehicle in the station today?
I hardly get you.
I'm asking if you have boarded any vehicle from the station today.
If I have boarded
any vehicle from the station today?
No, not really. I didn't.
But walking through the place, how long did it take you?
How long?
How long did it take you to walk through the place in your bid to get the story?
Just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Even, before you get to Kejetia bus terminal, there's this traffic app just opposite the MTN office. And before today, one could see a very long traffic. But when I there, I was surprised because I didn't see something like that. And I was like, hey, then the situation might have changed at the KKTR bus terminal. So when I entered, I realized the kind of free flow traffic, not as we see in previous days. Because when you go to where I was just mentioning, there will be a long traffic there. And today I didn't see anything like that.
Right. Thank you very much, Nuruddin. Mohammed Nuruddin joined us from the Ashanti region. He's a Joynews correspondent. And we've been talking about the decongestion exercise currently ongoing at the KJT lorry terminal and other places in the central business district of Kumasi. We'll bring you more on this particular story in subsequent broadcasts. You might want to stay on for that. But let's move on to some other issues this morning. And don't forget also, you can share your comments with me on any of the issues on the table this morning on our social media platforms. Joynews on Facebook. Joynews on TV is on Facebook and on Twitter as well. You can tweet me and I will share those tweets with the rest of us in the community. Let's talk about health now, and the nationwide rollout of the National Health Insurance capitation still hangs in a balance after a meeting to draw a roadmap for its full implementation ended inconclusively. The meeting, attended by various health stakeholders across the country, was to discuss whether to fully implement or suspend the scheme currently being piloted in the Ashanti region. The main sticking points at the end of the meeting were what the appropriate capitation rate should be and how it should be rolled out. Let's take a look at this.
The over 3-hour meeting attracted stakeholders in the health sector, including former Health Minister Dr. Richard Atani, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, the managers of health facilities in the country, and officials of the National Health Insurance Scheme. Views as to whether the scheme should be suspended or fully rolled out were diverse and passionate. One school of thought was of the opinion that the capitation, since its introduction in the Ashanti region about 2 years ago, though has its challenges, should be redesigned and must be maintained.
So we are looking at an incremental approach to implementation rather than a single bullet. Whereas PPP would be all-embracing, capitation, the next step into capitation, we are proposing to be implemental.
The other school of thought is, however, opposed to the scheme and wants it suspended.
What one region contain all the costs for 2 years and beyond. And from the speaking of the chief executive, it means that they are implementing it. There's no pilot. Because as at now, there's no document that says that or that tells us about the exit point for capitation. Initially, they said it was 3 months. When you put it, they said 1 year. So now it's 2 years going to the 3rd year. So one region is containing costs, while that is. If it is good, which I believe is not good in this current form, why can't we roll it over?
Capitation is properly packaged, and then from 2015 beyond, whichever date we think we want to do capitation, we bring it so that the people of Ghana would not complain, wouldn't have chaos in our health system.
There were also those who thought the capitation rate of 12 Ghana cedi is woefully inadequate and therefore needed to be reviewed upwards. Health Minister Sheriaite, however, had a different opinion. For her, NHIA capitation remains the answer to the myriad of challenges confronting access to healthcare delivery in the country.
Yeah, the way forward is to look at what we want to do in the other regions, and then take into consideration the financial sustainability, and then also we will review the mode of the capitation, and then we'll definitely scale it up.
Former Health Minister Dr. Richard Atani lauded the idea of the capitation but expressed concern about the piloting of the project in the Ashanti region.
Capitation as a policy is not a bad policy. However, the way it has been implemented is not the best. And if government is interested in capitation, government must not be seen to be discriminatory. If government wants to send it across the country, it should. If government thinks that it is not pleasant, then Ashanti must not continue to suffer.
Meanwhile, the sub-technical committee charged to see to the redesign and implementation of the capitation has recommended intense education for subscribers of the NHIS and a total map out of health facilities for providers.
We'll get into the conversation around the National Health Insurance Scheme and the authorities' bid to implement the capitation grant nationwide. But some of you have been commenting already on the KMA decongestion of the KGT bus terminal. McDonald Badanaku says that will be good of them. Kashmel says, in fact, that is a nice idea. They should go ahead. The congestion is becoming too much. Mahmoud Habib Jawula says the problem is not about relocation. Rather, it is a problem of sustainability. Moving Ghana forward thinks that it's a well-thought idea, but directions, notices should be given to passengers and travelers so as not to leave them stranded. Very good points there from you on our social media platforms. You can also do same, facebook.com/Joynews on TV, or my personal handle, Kemini Emmanuel. In any case, if you tweet, I tweet as well at Kemini, and Joynews does also at Joynews on TV. I'll share your thoughts with the rest of us in the community. When I return, we'll talk about the capitation grant. You're welcome back to News Desk. I'm totally grateful you stayed on. Let's move away from health and then talk about transport for a while. Some haulage operators are kicking against the new axle load regulation, which seeks to reduce the weight of load trucks carry. Haulers of sand and stones complain the new directive is worrying, particularly because they were not given enough time to structure their operations and prepare their clients before the directive took effect.
The Ghana Highway Authority began implementing the new axle load regulation on January 1, 2014. A statement from the authority, however, gives a grace period of up to January 31, 2014 for the haulage operators to comply with the new regulation. But the 30-day window still appears to be too short for the sand and stone haulers, who say they need more time to educate their clients on the change as well as structure their operations accordingly. Their arguments are influenced by the different types of load they carry, which ranges from rough and smooth sand to black soil and various sizes of stones. This, they say, makes it difficult to calculate the weight of each of the various loads per trip, considering the limited time frame.
Our material is not bad like ordinary commodities, so it is hard to determine. Let's assume if I load sand, a stone to the halfway, that's what the customer will take. What about sand, which means it will be quarter weight? What about 040, which is the heaviest? Where will it end? We believe our clients won't agree. So we are pleading with authorities. They should hold on, give us briefing space, at least 2 years. We sit down, they educate the public. Then the public gets to know that maybe from 2 years' time or a year's time, this truck will never deliver a sand to you full, but it will be halfway.
A 2-axle truck, which could previously carry weights of up to 21,000 kilograms, has seen a reduction to 18,000 kilograms. Weights for 3- and 4-axle trucks have equally been reduced. The reduction in axle load means the load per trip has also been reduced.
These are the axles. That's the first, second, third. They are the tires. So this truck is what the minister is quoting. That's the second category. That this truck have to load 27,000 kg, including, which means the sand and then the truck weight should be 27. And this truck is above 12,000 kg, almost about 14,000 kg. Now take away 14,000, that is the empty truck, from the 27, remaining about 13,000 kg. Now 13,000 kg, you are talking of 9 cubic capacity, which this bucket is more than 9 cubic. They should call on importers, educate them so that when they go in to buy trucks, they know the type of trucks they have to bring into the country.
Anthony Agbemehia tells Joynews several proposals to the Ghana Highway Authority detailing their challenges and suggesting better ways to handle the situation have fallen on deaf ears.
Thank you very much once again for staying on News Desk. With me in the studio to continue the conversation is Anthony Agbemehia. He is Vice Chairman for the Tema Accra Tipper Drivers Mother Union of the Sand and Stone Construction Association of Contractors Association of Ghana. Thank you very much, Anthony, for joining us on News Desk.
Thank you.
Let's try and understand the issue. What was the earlier load weight?
The earlier load weight was the single truck with 2 axles was 18,000 kg or 21,000 kg or 21 tons. And then the second category, which is single truck with 3 axles. Is permitted to carry 31,500.
Okay, for some of us who may not know what this 2-axle and 3-axle is, use your cars to explain to us.
Yes, I have some pictures here.
Very good.
Which I believe with this we.
I see. Let me help you.
This is the one.
This for instance, is what?
A single truck with 3 axles.
I see. And this takes. How many? What's the ton it can take?
It takes 19,200. We were formerly using this, but all of a sudden.
And this is 19. It can take weight of 19,200 kg.
Yes, which is equivalent to 12 cubic.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Normally we deal in cubics. But somewhere along the line, about 10 years now, the government or the importers, I don't know who granted, they started bringing in this type of trucks, which I believe the highway, through their investigation.
How heavy is this?
This is about 16,000 kg, which is 16 ton, empty weight of it. And with load is about 43 tons or 43,000 kg.
Okay, let me understand something. When you told me this is 19,200 kg, is it empty truck?
Yes, that's the empty.
When loaded?
When loaded is about. When loaded, it is about, how do you call it? Let me check from. When loaded, it is about 26,000 kg.
I see. Why did we decide to use the 43,000 then?
Well, we are in the business. We need trucks to work with. All of a sudden, importers started bringing in these trucks. And customers always want something that they will use and then have excess.
Of course.
If you buy sand, you need a sand that can do your job and then you complete the whole thing. So all of a sudden, they all rush into these huge ones. So the business turned to the huge ones. So we forgot about this very one. And then do away with it. Whilst some of them are in the system. But when it rains, the sand, the weight then changes. They still arrest us, which we don't understand.
Right. So what are you being asked to do now? What is the new weight?
Per the directive the minister is talking of, which means this truck have to load somewhere quarter of this bucket. Because this truck is about close to 16,000 kg. The cubic capacity originally by the manufacturers is about 31,000 kg, which is 20 cubic. You see, and per the directive that the minister is giving. So now with 16,000 kg, then you have to load something about, how do you call it, close to 10,000 or 16,000 or 12,200 kg before it will match what the minister is saying.
How is this affecting your business?
It is affecting us, not a joke. It is affecting us very, very well. Why am I saying it? Because if you are being caught by the highway officials, you'll be fined to pay 300 Ghana. And maybe the trick...
If you're caught doing what? Loading more than the directive?
Yes.
Okay.
Even as at now, we are using the old one. And this truck is 100% above the old one. Even we're even crying of this. We are talking of the old one. When it rains or the sun gets wet, it changes the weight. And if they arrest you, you pay 300 Ghana cedi. And this 300 Ghana cedi, your profit is even not up to this margin. Then you add some and then go and then pay. So tomorrow when a customer calls you, you can go. Some of us, we've decided to pack. Because for me, for instance, I've been somebody who have been targeted. So about 2 months now, I parked my truck. The owner understands me.
Why do you think all of this is happening?
Well, we think maybe government want to get us out of our job because we believe government was then saying PPP. It is a good idea. But if you bring it this, then we have trucks like the MMU, the National Youth Employment. People go there, they pay for sand, and they deliver to them. So if you are doing this, and they go there, when we meet, we use the same sand pit, the same route, but when we get to the other low point, that's where the difference comes in. That's where the discrimination starts. They allow them to go, they arrest us. We even have video clips of this discrimination that we are talking of. And we've given copies to Highway Authority. And nothing has been done about the whole thing.
Why don't you go back to using the old trucks?
Well, we, the drivers or the operators, especially with the tipper truck drivers, we don't have problem. When they started arresting us, we even went there to tell them now, we want government to do something so that it will help all of us. It will help the roads too. So we gave them an idea of certain standard. They should use the heaviest material, do the calculation, then come out with a cubic that will, with the empty weight, it will match. Then our roads too will be free. We've given them this information over 2 years now. We started over 2 years now, somewhere when Honorable Jogi Disu was in office. But I don't know why. Well, it looks as if the highway staff are not taking the, how do you call it, the information that we are giving or the piece of advice that we are giving to the minister. That's what I see.
Right, let me just remind our viewers that we are putting in efforts to raise the Ghana Highway Authority over the telephone and try and have a comprehensive conversation on this. But with me in the studio is Anthony Agbemehia. He's Vice Chairman for the Tema Accra Tipper Drivers Mother Union of the Sand and Stone Contractors Association of Ghana. And we've been discussing the new directive that's asking for this, given a new axle load regulation, which seeks to reduce the weight of the load of trucks that they carry. Anthony is telling me that really this affects their business because if you have to go with this particular truck, it means you have to go twice to get one.
Yes.
This one per the new directive.
Yeah, per the new directives, which means you have to, go twice.
To get what?
Yes,
talk about fuel.
Talking about fuel, and recently the increased fuel. So that is some of the reason why we are kicking against the whole thing. But if it would have been done and done properly, we won't have problem with it.
What would be the proper way of doing this?
The proper way of doing this they should first of all stop inflows of these heavy trucks from coming into the country from the port. Then, they then call us, we those using these ones, we jaw, and then come out. So what will happen is, we'll put these ones off. Then government brings in the sample that he is talking of, like the energy people are doing. Bring your old TV or fridge, we'll give you a new one. We are not saying they should give it to us free of charge, no. But there should be some documentation. Then the owners, we then work and then pay that is in the cost of the trucks.
Why, from what you're saying, it means that there was no consultation with the association before the directive was passed.
Yeah, let me say it this way. They started with this, how do you call it? This ECOWAS, this articulator guys. So all of a sudden, the whole thing came on these cargo trucks, and then it was narrowed on us. So it was narrowed down on us. That's what I'm saying. Before, some years now, about 10 years, when we were using this, when we passed, the staffs at post don't even mind us, because they know if you put the truck on the way, it won't weigh up to anything. So we're then not having problem with them. So about, let me see, it's about 2 years now when we started sensing this as a waiting. So we went there. The chief executive, he knows me. They all know me at the highways, they know me. In person, Mr. Abbey. So we gave out this suggestion. Even we met with them, they even wrote this minute and then gave me copies. We raised issues like we need a standard. We raised issues that it should be done and done properly. They even gave it, signed by the chief executive, M.A. Abbey. You see, this is the letter. Signed by M.A. Abbey. You see. So we raised consensus. Even there are some monitors outside at Afienya. The monitor should be there. It is not there. And we have complained several times. And no one seems to care. But I don't know why. The authorities too, they don't come down to us. They always take the advice, source the advice from their office. And sometimes which we believe is wrong. But when they get to us at the grassroots, who will then tell them exactly what is on the playing field. You see. So we've read certain issues which they gave me copy. They have it. So why wouldn't they tell the minister that, oh, these tipper truck people, their problem is different, so we should treat them this way or that way?
Have you sought to find an answer to the question you just asked?
We haven't had an answer yet. We haven't.
Have you sought it? Have you gone to ask the question?
We've gone several times, but getting answer to this very question is not coming.
I see. What are you going to do now?
Well, what we think of doing is this. We intend when the minister re-review the weight, what we'll do is, we believe their idea of bringing this thing have been achieved. We will get out of our jobs, and then maybe we seek legal means to seek for redress, rather than we will demonstrate, but it won't help. We want us to sit together so that they help us, because it will be hard. If my truck is taken off the road, I am not alone. I am with two boys, which are drivers' mates. They also have family. I also have family. So you're talking of a whole lot of people who are going to go out of their jobs.
How many members do you have?
Oh, it is Tema Accra Mother Union. We have about 600 members.
Yeah. What I want to find out from you, Anthony, is have you officially told the ministry about your displeasure?
We've been writing to Honorable Jogidiso when he left office. But this new minister, we haven't. But we believe a minister, when he comes into office, the ministry, staff there, they are the technical eye of the minister or the technical brain of the minister. So since we have taken this message to them, we believe they would have advised him so that he then come out, so that we do this.
When do you intend to approach the minister?
Well, as at now, I have to consult my other executives to see if, as to when we will do that.
I see. These issues you have raised in your meeting with the Ghana Highway Authority, quite a number of issues there, about 13 of them.
Yes, about 13 of them. But I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You've taken some of the running issues. What solutions have you got to these problems? Because it doesn't have to do with just the weights being reduced. It has to do with more than just the weight. I've been through a number.
Well, we agree with them. It has to do with the weight reduce, but it has to be done and done properly. You see, we have a group like the fuel tankers. We are talking of weight. Right. You have a group like the fuel tankers. A fuel tanker carrying about 15,000 liters, which is about 15,000 kg. Plies these routes every day, and highway staff see nothing wrong to even arrest and put those tanker trucks on the scale and find out. We've complained several times about it and found out exactly what we are talking of, if it is true or not. But here, I have something here to quote. They say it is mandatory for every truck driver on the highway to make his truck available for weight check at the various weight bridge station. The second station, that's the last. That will be the last. All trucks weighing 3.5 and above are to be subjected to ASU load control. Now, why do they allow these tanker trucks to go? Why do they allow these youth employment guys to go? Some of our
perhaps they are measured. For instance, the fuel tankers, because we know the amount of liters in it, we can generally estimate the weight. But with you, I mean, from the discussions you've had with the Ghana Highway Authority, you don't even have weighing scales.
We don't have weighing scales.
Have you sorted that out?
It is listed here. We have it here. It is unfortunate viewers cannot, see through this. We have these things raised here. We don't have scales at our quarries. Quarries, we have about 3 quarries that have scales. The remaining they don't have. It's about 10 or some number above. It is about 3 that have weighing scales. And then when you come to they are even well organized. They are limited something. They are even well organized. But with our sand pits, it is not organized. You weigh sand today from here. The next time you hear it is the other village. The third time it will even come back closer to Accra. The third time you go far to Cape Coast.
I see.
So they are not stationed. The whole problem is we are not stationed. And we have this.
Anthony, I'm going to give you a final words. Unfortunately, we are unable to raise the Highway Authority or the Ministry of Transport over the telephone. But your final words to them.
Well, my final words, first of all, will go to my fellow tipper truck drivers. I am pleading with them. Most of them load over, beyond the bucket level. I am pleading with them. They shouldn't do that. They should load to the brim of the bucket, which we believe it will be okay. And then besides that, for Ghana Highway Authority, I am still throwing this challenge to them, that they should get in touch with standard boards, get in touch with DVLA, and then GRA as well, so that truck importation, and then educate the general public as well as importers, so that they know as to what type of trucks they should import into the country, so that our roads will be safe.
Right. Thank you very much, Anthony. Anthony Agbemehia is Vice Chairman for the Tema Accra Tipper Drivers Mother Union of the Sand and Stone Contractors Association, and we've been talking their haulage issues. Government or Ministry of Transport has come out to reduce come out with a new axle regulation which reduces the weight of the load trucks are able to carry. Thank you very much once again, Anthony Agbemehia. But some of you have been sharing your thoughts on this particular issue, and I want to share with us, the rest of us in the community, and I'll do that quickly. On Facebook, Mahamoud Habib Jawula says, the interest of the nation is supreme than any other interests. They should give us a break. Doland Kelly says, Ghana please. And I lost that there. But I promise to read those messages when I come back. When I return, we'll talk health, and then if you haven't seen Makaziwe Mandela's tribute to BBC News anchor Komla Dumor, who died Saturday, I'll show you that as well. You're welcome back to News Desk. Now, I was telling you earlier that the nationwide rollout of the National Health Insurance capitation still hangs in the balance after a meeting to draw a roadmap for its full implementation ended inconclusively. Salom Adoni is Communications Manager for the National Health Insurance Authority. He's joined us over the telephone. Let's find out if a decision has been reached yet. Hello, Salom.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm also okay. We are all just trying to recover from Komla's sudden demise, but aside that, we are fine.
Absolutely. So, Salom, has a decision been reached as far as the rollout is concerned?
Well, I mean, I should say that we had a meeting on Friday, and that meeting was not meant for a decision necessarily to be reached on capitation. That meeting was for the technical subcommittee to present its report on the situation in Ashanti, the pilot in Ashanti, after which it was subjected to some discussion, and we reached some conclusion, and the conclusion we reached was that the ministry was given a number of things to look at and make pronouncements on them. So that is where we are. But what was unanimous at the meeting, though, is that the NHIA or the Ministry of Health, together with the NHIA, should begin what we call the enrollment of people as the PPPs or on the PPPs. That is the preferred primary provider, which is a precursor to capitation. So that is where we are now. And the 3 points that the meeting gave the Ministry of Health to go and then look at include the fact that, number one, they should come up with a roadmap for capitation rollout nationally or nationwide. Number two, they should define and refine the capitation as it is now, what we should do, what we should not do. And the third one is to look at what the case in Ashanti should be. People have said that people in Ashanti should be given some compensation, which is understandable, amongst other things, So all these things have been given to the ministry to go and look at and then come. So if it is not entirely accurate to say that it hangs in a balance, the essence of the meeting was not to roll out. The essence of the meeting was to receive the report of the technical subcommittee, which oversaw the implementation or the pilot phase of the implementation of capitation in Ashanti. And we think that, by and large, that objective was achieved.
Does it also include the appropriate capitation rates to be issued? We understand that some providers are demanding an upward review.
Yes, I mean, I know multimedia pays you a lot of money, but if your boss came to you to tell you that, I want to increase your salary by 20 or 30%, you wouldn't say, no, the money is enough, so I don't want an increase. Everybody wants an increase. So the increase or the capitation rate really should not be an issue that should occupy our minds so much, because people will always want a lot of money, especially the private providers who, though they are doing well in terms of bridging the gap between what government facilities do and what they don't do. You know, they are also private businesses, so they are driven by the profit motive sometimes. So we have to bear that in mind. So it is not entirely accurate, again, to say that because the capitation rate was not increased, then we did not achieve our aim. Indeed, when the pilot started, one of the things the pilot achieved was that the pilot was able to tweak around and modify the capitation as it went along. For example, medicines were taken out, which was a major cost driver for the NHI. That was taken out. Medicines constitute about 51% of our entire claims payment, and that has been taken out. Maternal care cases have been taken out. Specialist outpatient care cases have been taken out. So, you know, and then the capitation rate itself was increased about twice also, if my memory serves me right. It was increased at least once. So it is not as if the NHIA or the Ministry of Health is adamant and doesn't care about what happened. You know, we are thinking about the greater good of the people. What you must know is that the managers of the scheme and then policymakers at the Ministry of Health also have Ghana at heart. I'm not sure that anybody can claim to love Ghanaians than the policymakers in health or people at the NHI whose reputation and jobs may even be on the line if things don't go well. So people really mean well, and we must just ensure that we come to a middle ground so we can all agree on the issue of the capitated rate, for example. But we think that the rate we are offering is quite good, and we should move on with that. What they don't tell you, what they don't tell you is that, you know, when people come to the hospital, you know, the PPP I talked about, the preferred primary providers, people enroll with them, and for 1 month or so, you don't go to hospital every month, but the NHI pays you for those people every single month. They don't talk about what happens to the rest of the money, because they have to keep that. They get to keep that. The concept of capitation. They don't talk about that, you understand? Because it is good for them, they don't talk about that. What they also don't talk about is that capitation is just one of the 3 payment systems that the NHI uses. And what capitation covers is just 22% of the entire basket. What happens to the rest of the 78%? They don't talk about that. You understand? So let's not be carried away so much by the issues. Of course, there are genuine issues, some of them raised, which we are looking at, which we have looked at in the past, and which we have dealt with. So that is what we want to do, and that is the purpose. But again, that meeting was not a rollout meeting. That meeting was to receive the report of the technical subcommittee, which was done, which was discussed, and which came up with proposals and recommendations, one of which was that the ministry should go and look at the 3 points they've raised and come back to or make an announcement on the 3 points that I raised earlier. And for us, I think it was, by and large, very successful.
For financial efficiency's sake, in Kenya, for instance, there's been the promotion of preventive healthcare delivery as well. So in this case, where you pay the capitation rate all right for a person and the person may not go to the hospital at all, what will be the element we can put in there? Perhaps we can put in the preventive healthcare delivery in there so that I don't have to be sick to go to the hospital.
Yeah, the preventive, you know, as part of the capitation, I mean, the fact that the person doesn't go to the hospital doesn't necessarily mean that there's no interaction between the person and the hospital. For example, the hospital may call the person, how are you feeling? Are you better? You know, so I'm not well, I think I'm tired, okay, take some sleep, or is it malaria? Ensure that your area is clean, clear gutters in your area, etc. These are preventive messages which may be coming from the facilities to the people. You understand? And even the NHIS, by design and by law, it's curative. It's curative, not preventive. So maybe moving forward, the discussion we should be having is that we should put in some preventive packages. But again, there is an argument that public health or preventive aspect of health is not the duty of NHIS. It is the duty of the ministry. There's that argument as well. So the NHIS was designed to be curative in nature, not preventive. So that is where we are. It's an issue of design and it's an issue of law. And it's not an issue that we can resolve speaking now. Indeed, there are people who feel that the Ministry of Health's role is purely preventive and they must go ahead with their policy matters and their preventive health messages and all things they do. And let NHIS concentrate on its curative function, that is paying for care people receive at the hospital. So there's that discussion going on, but this is not the right platform, I think, for that now. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Salom. We'll leave it here. Salom Adonu is Communications Manager for the National Health Insurance Authority, and he'll wrap up our conversation on health. But let me just read some of your thoughts on this particular issue as well as I move away from the haulage issue. On Facebook, Emmanuel Johnny says, good to hear. And Prince Nuruddin Bawumia from Boko says, in fact, the ministry has to scale up the implementation so fast for the beneficiaries in the country. Those are two of your comments on an issue that has to do with the capitation grants as far as the National Health Insurance Scheme is concerned. But it still continues to break my heart to talk about this. And the daughter of Nelson Mandela, Makaziwe Mandela, has paid tribute to BBC presenter Komla Dumor, who died suddenly on Saturday at the age of 41. Makaziwe Mandela, who Dumor interviewed after her father's death, I'm sure you recall that, described him as a shining star of Africa. She spoke to the BBC's Focus on Africa program on Monday.
There was a lot of shock and sadness amongst us because, I mean, as you say, here was truly a shining star of Africa who came into our lounges, our bedrooms, you know, every day at 7:30 South African time, Focus on Africa, and sometimes on other channels. But as you say, a beacon of Africa's warmth and shine. Komla was Africa in every essence.
I mean, when you met him, it was at a difficult time when you had just lost your father. But he described to me how he felt like he was part of the family when he came to offer condolence to your family.
He came into my house and called me Mommy, you know, which is really an endearing way in which West Africans call elder people. And I was just comfortable with it. And we chit-chatted about just about everything else. I was very comfortable. And that's the type of person, of professional journalist that he was. You know, as I said, there are those people who have you call it charisma. You know, in Xhosa City, we say mkita, some, you know, who have just that presence with them that make you happy, that make you, even if you are sad, give you that warm feeling inside. And Komla, for me, even when I was in my saddest moment, I just felt confident.
What is it about him that made him so special?
What makes these people who have this presence, for lack of a better word, I don't know what makes them have the presence that they have. I mean, he was, I always said to my husband, he was a suave dresser, you know, with his impeccable suits. Not that, I mean, I think most of the BBC journalists, especially the men, are very suave dressers, you know, with his ties and what do you call it, handkerchief. I mean, he was always well put together, even if when he was in the field with casual clothing, the presence, the tallness, the way that he carried himself, he had this glow on his face all the time. And yeah, like welcoming into your home somebody that you've known for a long time.
Indeed, we have lost a shining star. People like Komla Dumor don't die early. But don't forget that you can sign the book of condolence we've opened here at our premise here at Multimedia. at Kokomlemne. You can sign the book of condolence at opened at Joy FM, and I'm grateful you stayed through, and it's still a very terrible moment for us here at Multimedia. Thank you very much for staying through. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Stay on for CNBC Spa Lunch. Goodbye.